Well, howdy friends, Brian Fleshig, a Mad River Outfitters in the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and welcome to our new, as of 2025, mini-series on steelhead fishing here in the Great Lakes region with special focus on fishing on the Lake Erie tributaries. And for this series, I'm going to turn this over to two of the best steelhead guides I know, who also happen to work for Mad River Outfitters and the Ohio Fly Fishing Guides, and that's Josh Trammell and Dustin White.
What's up, everybody? This is Dustin White,
Josh Trammell,
and we are so excited to be talking over the next 6 episodes about steelhead. These are going to come out every Thursday, and I can think of no better place to start than talking about Steelhead Alley.
Yeah, let's go over kind of a little bit of the history of Steelhead Alley and of steelhead in general in the Great Lakes. They were first introduced into the Great Lakes region back in the 1870s. What we primarily target is the Steelhead Alley region, which ranges anywhere from Toledo all the way to Buffalo, New York.
Basically, when we say a tributary of Lake Erie, the South Shore that constitutes Steelhead Alley, it could be any sort of tributary, any larger river, stream, creek, and in some cases, Josh, even ditches. If it has water moving through it and connects to Lake Erie, it can and will hold steelhead.
Cool. We primarily target fish in all of the Ohio tributaries. So that's everything from Toledo all the way to Conneaut, Ohio. And then we do a little bit of kind of the western Pennsylvania tribs, specifically around Erie, Pennsylvania.
So Josh, when can they be caught?
So there's a variety of different seasons. We kind of kick things off usually in middle to late October. Once we start getting some cooler night temperature-wise, and we start getting some cooler rains, bring the river levels up, pushes that water out into the lake, and we start getting these migratory lake run steelhead into our tributaries.
With that though, there is actually what we call a sweet spot, an intersection of 3 different variables, 3 different conditions that really trigger these fish pushing in. And that really is the amount of flow. So we would call that CFS. Like any and all trout, they really like to be in water moving about 1 to 3 feet per second. That's relative to the gradient of the river that you happen to be on. We're looking at turbidity, the overall clarity of the water, but we're also looking at temperature as well. So with that, when they can be caught, yes, that broader region is mid-fall to mid-spring, but there are optimal peaks in that when those 3 metrics tend to align with one another. So there are fishable conditions and there are some unfishable conditions. So what would a fishable condition be for you on Steelhead Alley?
So typically I'm looking for water temps ranging from the high 30s to mid to upper 40s. And that range is a pretty comfortable range for trout. These are trout. I'm looking for visibility in the water to be anything from kind of that 2 foot to 3 foot range. If you step out in the water and you can see your shoelaces about 2-3 feet down, perfect. There's a lot of fishable conditions. It could be dirtier. It could be a lot clearer. There's a wide variety of different conditions you get here on the Steelhead Alley, depending on what Dustin mentioned. Temperature, water flow, rain and snowmelt affect those.
And each angler and us guys have our own preference, our own sweet spot. So some guys are gonna have a preference for dirtier water. Others gonna have a preference for cleaner water. Some are gonna like a higher flow, some are gonna like a lower flow. And so there's an edge to that condition that allows for a lot of wiggle room, a lot of play for you as the angler to get out there, experiment to see what works for you. But that at broader bookend, if you will, is what we're really looking for in terms of fishable, unfishable. Now, when you talk about unfishable, that's a lot of times when, as we are in the wintertime, the rivers can slush over. If your flies can't get down to the fish, there's not a lot of fishing that can be done. If leaves are bogging it up in the fall when they drop off the trees and the wind kicks up and you can't get those flies to punch in, probably unfishable there. If you've got less than an inch or 2 of visibility and the fish can't even see your fly, probably not a fishable condition. But otherwise, you're gonna find some success here on our waters because of just how saturated that is with steelhead.
Why do we pay attention to temperature when we're out there?
Yes, we want to pay attention to temperatures on the alley because there is a happy zone where those fish are going to be most active, but also where we can be responsible as anglers too. We start creeping up into the 60s, and especially as we're getting into that mid-higher 60s, it's pretty irresponsible to target the fish, so we always want to keep an eye on that. But on the same rings true on the lower end too. After we start dipping below that 36-degree mark especially, our fish get pretty sluggish. So as we get into fly selection, we got to be using some flies that are a little brighter to really elicit that strike from the fish that might not want to move.
Something that stands out a little bit more. Hotter colors.
That's right.
Pinks and oranges and chartreuse.
Well, Josh, I can't wait for the next episode to talk about our tactics and our techniques. But if you can't wait for that episode to come out and want to dive in deeper, want to encourage you to check out Steelheading Made Simple, where you can find right here or below in the description.
And for now, while you're waiting for next Thursday, you can like this video and you can subscribe to kind of keep up to date with when we have these coming out. And we'll see you on the next one.